Guys, welcome back to Southern Extreme TV. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on my channel. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive review of the NocPix Quest H35R thermal binoculars. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and share this video. For those of you that are interested in thermal optics or night hunting or just game survey, land management, you guys are really going to enjoy today's video, especially if you're in the market for a really unique thermal. There's been a huge craze over the last 8 to 9 years in the thermal night hunting industry, mainly on the scope front. And then also on the monocular front as well, because those are arguably probably the two most utilized pieces of thermal equipment that's on the market. However, in the last couple years, 2, 3, 4 years, we've started seeing a huge influx of binoculars, thermal binoculars, and a lot of people like them. Some people don't like them, some people absolutely love them. So that's why I was really excited to get my hands on a pair of this Quest series from NocPix. And let's do a deep dive on it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about some things that I like about them, some things that I don't like about them, and potentially if this is a product that may or may not be right for you. So let's set that there to the side and let's dive into this box. So again, the H35R, the 35 stands for a 35mm objective lens. This is going to be a 640 resolution optic, and we're just going to dive in and do kind of an unboxing, which the unboxing portion gets kind of boring, to be honest with you. So I try to breeze through this if I can. We're just going to set this box right here in case I need to pull some specs off. You do get a bino harness, or not really a bino harness, but a chest rig. So very similar to if you guys are used to running binoculars where they're hanging down on your chest, you're going to get a specific set of straps that go with this kind of bino harness pack, which is really nice. Now, if you're somebody like me or Guffey, where we're running the Alaska Guide Creation, I think it's called the Rascal, which is a little bit bigger. It's a little narrower, but a little bit wider of a chest pack. It's designed really for concealed carry, but it's really nice for being able to put your remote for your collar and a set of either bino thermals or a monocular in it as well. You do have that ability to run that with this optic. So it looks like you're going to get an accessory pack right here. You get just a neck strap. You get charging cable. Looks like you do get, just got a paper cut. That's fantastic. We've got a couple batteries, which is nice. There's a battery already in this thermal. You get a charging box, and that is pretty much the gist of what you're getting. And then obviously you're going to get, ta-da, the actual thermal binoculars themselves, and then you do have a little nice pair of rubber end caps. The chest rig is actually really nice. It's magnetic, and it actually flips when it's on your chest. It actually flips forward, and you've got a little zipper right here that's really nice for keeping batteries or other accessories. So if you're somebody that's not running a chest rig, it's really nice. I think you guys will enjoy this because this will kind of help keep everything nice and neat and keep things from flopping around when you're trying to get in and out of the woods. So we're going to set this to the side, and we're going to talk now about the actual optic itself. So there are 3 different models, I believe, in the NocPix Quest series. They make a 384 resolution, they make a 640 resolution, which is what I've got here, and then they make a 640 resolution that has the 50mm objective lenses on the front. Now, the pro behind the larger objective lens is going to be a little bit wider field of view, going to be, the same clarity, but it is going to be just a touch larger, which is why I really wanted to test out these 35mm, because to me, the size of these binos are very similar to what the majority of people are running for deer hunting, elk hunting, mule deer hunting. It's very similar to that same size. So if you have a chest rig or you're already using a set of just regular daytime binoculars, it's going to feel very, very comfortable to you, and it's not going to feel big and gaudy, which is really, really nice. The other thing I want to talk about, just on the finish feel, if you will, is going to be the weight of these. That was one thing thing that I was super nervous about before I took these things out of the box was, you know, some even monoculars can be relatively heavy. For example, the AGM Sidewinder, it's one of those larger monoculars that can just be heavy. And in my mind, it was going to be like taking two of those monoculars and putting them together, and it was going to me, it was going to feel like a beast to carry or maneuver, and that's not the case. These things are actually super lightweight. They feel exactly like a normal set of daytime binoculars. The daytime binoculars that I run for deer hunting and turkey hunting is made by a company called Tract Optics, and these are the exact same weight, which is really cool because this has got internal batteries, and it's got a lot of features packed into this thing. Now, what is really cool about these binoculars as well is that they have a built-in integrated LRF system. So not only are you getting a set of binoculars, which is what I would say 95% of the hunters, not just predator hunters, but daytime hunters, whether it be deer, turkey, or whatever, they're carrying those binoculars, but they're also probably carrying a rangefinder as well. So being able to have a set of binos along with a built-in LRF could potentially eliminate the need for that external LRF being carried into the woods. Now, why do I think that that is a big deal? Because to me, there are binocular manufacturers, or let's just say optic manufacturers out there that create normal daytime scopes that are going to MSRP from anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000, which is a ridiculous amount of money for a normal set of daytime glass optics. These are going to MSRP you for around $3,000. Now, initially, maybe you say, well, that's kind of a lot of money for a set of binoculars. However, I want you to think through this. Maybe you're somebody like me who likes to deer hunt, who likes to turkey hunt, who likes to coyote hunt, who likes to do land management. Maybe you like to go help track deer. Maybe you like to do all of those things. This one set of binoculars can eliminate your need for an LRF. It can eliminate your need for a thermal monocular scanner, and it can eliminate your need for a normal daytime optic, and it can eliminate your need for a backup scanner, if you will, when you're going tracking deer. And you get all of that into one unit. So if you take your average cost of all of those units put together, I know you guys are going to be over $1,000, if not easily over $2,000. So to me, what's the extra little bit of money to go ahead and get a set of thermal binoculars that is really nice? I want to go over some of the specs just for those of you that are in tune with what thermal sensors and ratings and all that type stuff is, just so that way you guys are on the same page with what we're working with. So we've got a dual 1920 by 1200 OM OLED display, 1,000-yard integrated LRF system, so you're good out to 1,000 yards with this LRF. Focus and zoom are controlled by smooth turning ergonomic dials, which is basically going to be right here in the very middle, very similar to what you guys are used to focusing your binoculars with whenever you're running your normal daytime optics as well. Real cool thing about this is it uses a common 18650 battery, which is really cool. For those of you that are already running thermals, maybe you're running a thermal scope, or maybe you're already running another thermal monocular, if it's running off the 18650 batteries, you're going to get two 18650 batteries with this set of binoculars anyway. So the ability to interchange and maneuver all those different batteries between all your other units, it's also going to be integrated with this as well, which is really nice. Independent diopter focus, and big word here, interpupillary, probably butchered that name, adjustment for each eyepiece. And I don't know exactly what that word means, but we'll dive into what I think it means here in a minute. The sensor, so this is diving more into the thermal aspect of it. The sensor, it's a 640 resolution, which I mentioned before. It's a 640 by 512, 60 hertz refresh rate. So when you're sitting there, the one thing with a binocular, especially at close range, you're scanning a lot. If you're at longer range, sometimes you're sitting there focusing more, but I really liked having that 60 hertz refresh rate, because when you're scanning back and forth, maybe you're looking in a field for white-tailed deer that's maybe coming out, and you want to make sure that you see them before they get into the field, so then you can get your scope up, or you can get your regular binoculars up, whatever it may be. Having that fast refresh rate is a big deal with these binos. Objective lens, which I've already mentioned, is a 35 millimeter. The NETD rating is a sub 15 millikelvin. So the lower that rating, the better the resolution is going to be with that optic. Sub 15 is kind of that, I'm not going to say it's the standard. Sub 15 is kind of the flagship right now. There's some out there that's sub 18, some are sub 20. The majority of the higher end optics you're seeing at that sub 15 millikelvin rating, which is really, really awesome that they were able to do that in this set of optics for around that $3,000 price range. Magnification, it says it has a native 3x and digital all the way to 8x, so you can go from 3 to 8 power. You've got pixel size is 12 micron. Detection range, so they're claiming a detection range of 1,970 yards, so basically 2,000 yards detection range. Now that's not ID range. I want you guys that maybe don't know the difference between the two. ID range is where you can actually see the animal and be able to tell me if it's a possum, if it's a skunk, if it's a raccoon, whatever that may be, a deer, a human, whatever. That is IDing range. For detection is you're looking out through there and 2,000 yards away, you're going to be able to tell that there is some type of animal, piece of machinery, something that is putting off a heat displacement, and you will see that showing in these binos. So that's a really, really strong sensor. And then they've got mentioned here again for the second time, integrated 1,000-yard LRF. So that's kind of the brief specs, basically vomiting out at you guys for those of you that really want to know about it. Let's talk about the positives, what I do like about it, and then let's talk about what I don't like about it. I've already talked a little bit about what I do like about it with the 18650 batteries, the size, the weight, the simplicity of going through the menu settings. You do get a multitude of different color palettes, and I want to say that they had that wrote on here, but maybe I bypassed that. You do get several different color palettes in this. You get your white hot, your black hot, some people call it fuchsia, where it's kind of that red, white, and blue looking color to it. So you get a lot of that, which is nice. You've got a USB-C charging port. So for those of you that maybe are thinking about utilizing these as your new deer hunting rig, if you forget to charge your 18650 battery, like Guffey likes to do, Guffey never has anything charged whenever he's going out with us. This allows you to take a USB-C cord, which comes with it, and if you've got like an external battery pack that a lot of guys typically take into the deer woods with them, you can actually run this optic from that battery pack without having the 18650 battery. So that's really, really nice. All of those things to me are really, really cool. The pro to me behind running a set of binos in lieu of running a monocular at night, specifically probably on the thermal hunting side, is if you've been thermal hunting and you've been running a monocular, what you run into is one eye will be completely dilated, whereas the other eye will not be completely dilated. So when you take your eye off of that monocular, a lot of times it can be very difficult for you to see maybe your remote. Maybe it's difficult for you to see your gun, if you need to reach up, look at your buttons, whatever it may be. Whereas with these, your eyes are going to be dilated to the exact same degree because you're getting an image in both sets of eyes. Now, that's not to say that, once you take the optic down, if your eyes are completely dilated, in the dark, and then all of a sudden, you put a bright screen up in your eyes and then you take them back down, it's going to take you a little bit of time for both eyes to adjust. But it is kind of nice not having one eye at one dilation, if that's a word, dilated status versus the other one. So that's really, really nice. I will say the negative behind it, and this is only, in my opinion, this is only a negative that's going to be for a very select few people. I have a very, very small head. Like, I'm talking, this is a Richardson model 112, very common style hat, and every single snap on the back of this hat is snapped together, and sometimes, depending on the make of it or the style of it, I actually have to overlay some of the snaps on the tighter settings. So that gives you an idea of just how small my head is. And the problem that I run into is these eyepieces. Basically what goes up against your eye, they move left and right. So basically somebody who has a really, really big fat head like Guffey, he can move them way out here like this. Then if you have somebody like me that has a real small head, you can move them back in more narrow. So that's the way that it can kind of fit universally for a lot of people. However, with me, They need about a 1/4 of an inch adjustment more to the inside. My eyes are super narrow apart, and these do not quite go together close enough for it to be super comfortable to me. I almost have to hold the binoculars a little bit farther off my face than what I would normally do for me to be able to get that full sight picture. If I put the binos all the way up against my eye or all the way up against my face, it's almost like my eyes are wanting to kind of go opposite directions to try to see the lens. And it's just not quite that comfortable for me. But again, this is a very rare thing, because very few people have a head as small as what I've got, or have eyes that are as narrow as what mine are. So I would say that 99%, 98% of people are not going to have this issue with these binos. My wife absolutely loves them. She enjoys looking through them. They're easy to run, they're easy to function, and they appear to be built to last, which is really cool, because NocPix is offering a 5-year warranty on their thermal stuff, which is kind of the industry standard now. 5 years is kind of what everybody's doing, but the fact that you get a 5-year warranty out of this thermal is a really big deal. I think that these things can be utilized in a wide range of different scenarios for people who are maybe not deer hunting. Maybe you're a cattleman, you want to find your cattle. Maybe you just want to do surveying of your deer at nighttime in a bean field. You can very easily do that here. If you're somebody that's wanting to upgrade your normal daytime binoculars for deer hunting, but you're also a predator hunter, this is a great thing to invest in lieu of investing in regular daytime binos and a thermal binocular. You can utilize this for both aspects of deer hunting, turkey hunting, and predator hunting. There's a whole lot of positives going into these things. I cannot speak for the 640 in the 50mm objective lens, though I can tell you that they're going to be a little bit bigger, a little bit bulkier, and obviously that's going to come with a little bit added weight. To me, the 640 resolution with the 35mm objective lens is really that happy medium between getting the sensor clarity that you need to be able to really see and get the detail for the animal that you're looking at, but also maintaining that lightweight, sleek look that you want when you're going into the woods to go hunting. So really hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I answered as many questions as I could about these thermal binoculars. If there's anything that I didn't go over in the video, drop a comment down below if you got a question about anything. I will try my best to answer them, or if I don't know the answer, I will find somebody who is a lot smarter than me to give us an answer. So I really appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we are trying to grow this thing to 100,000 subs, and every click does get me one step closer to that goal. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys on the next episode.